Steve, this is about as close as we can get to the spot where 8 of those 18 victims were killed. The youngest, just 14 years old. A short police chase that started in Lawrence, Massachusetts, ended right here off Merrimack Ave in Dracut. He told the judge that he loves his daughter and insists that he did not kill Harmony. It's a lot quieter here this morning than it was last night, but you can see there is still somewhat of a scene here behind me. Something else that we've heard over and over today is that Lewiston will be remembered for moments like this. And Bergeron told us these past 2 days have been filled with gratitude. But the major concern right now is flooding. I want you to take a look here behind me. You can see the ocean water is already starting to rise. And they were out celebrating a birthday walking down the street, and the next thing they knew, they woke up in the hospital. We heard more witness testimony and heard an audio recording of the moments detectives told Logan Clegg about the charges he was facing. And several parents came here today to see Groves in court. They're furious about these allegations, but a couple people were injured by broken glass when the tree broke through this window. I took a few dance classes back in the day, so I was thrilled when London offered up a quick private lesson.
Oh yeah. Excellent.
These guys can display symptoms that are similar to other respiratory illnesses, coughing, sneezing.
Right now at 6, News 9 Investigates has confirmed that in many instances, information about serious mental health cases is not getting entered into the background check system for people purchasing guns in New Hampshire. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jennifer Vaughn.
And I'm Steve Botari. We have been pushing for answers on this for days in the wake of that deadly shooting earlier this month at New Hampshire Hospital.
WMUR's Hannah Cotter is with us now. And Hannah, this is proving to be a very complicated issue.
Steve, Jen, it's incredibly complicated. And at the root of the legal questions here is a statute from 2016 that was interpreted differently by people. And it seems like because of those differences, information has not made it into background checks. Officials running background checks for Granite Staters buying firearms from licensed dealers have access to information in the National Instant Check System, or NICS. News 9 Investigates has been working to uncover what that includes when it comes to someone's serious mental health history. But right now, as things stand right now, is there any mental health information that is made available in the NICS database when someone's going to buy a gun? If someone's involuntarily committed, they're out, they go to buy a gun, is that information made available?
So it really depends on the specific situation, the specific individual we're talking about, but the information that's available is fairly limited.
There are also questions about what should and shouldn't be reported to that database and by whom. A previous attorney general and the courts had different views of a 2016 statute pertaining to the information going into NICS. Attorney General John Formella says today there's still no agreement.
But it's an issue that New Hampshire has been discussing for a long time, and we think now is a good time to really bring those discussions back to the forefront.
We've been asking these questions in the aftermath of a deadly shooting at New Hampshire Hospital, where the suspect who had previously been involuntarily committed to that hospital had guns, and we don't know when or how he bought them. Even though this has been an issue for several years, Governor Sununu says he thinks there now needs to be a policy change.
To hopefully either get it reconsidered or understand what laws need to be changed to make sure that that information is part of the NICS system.
Church bells ringing Sunday afternoon in Lewiston, one to represent each life lost.
Jason Walker.
People from all over the state coming together at Holy Family for a prayer service to honor the victims and their families.
We live in a different town, but we do have a history and a relationship with this part of Maine, so it's what we as people of faith do. There's a tragedy like this.
Mainers are resilient and tough, and people will get through this in some fashion, but it will never replace the people that are gone, clearly.
Makeshift memorials have been set up outside the bar and bowling alley where the shootings took place. Flowers, signs, carved pumpkins, and crosses. In a city where residents say everybody knows somebody.
It's really hard to find in this community somebody who doesn't know somebody who's affected, or somebody who was there, or somebody who's killed.
A city they say is forever changed.
Very tragic day in our history. We're going to be known as the mass shooting.
Tyler Cahill, 19.
Ryan Terrio, my grandson, 29.
Parents, grandparents, and other relatives coming together outside the State House Monday with one tragic thing in common. They've all lost loved ones to fentanyl.
We're starting to make small steps in education and awareness.
We just don't want other parents to have to go through what we've gone through.
Andrea Cahill and Tricia Terrio both lost their sons to the deadly drug, and they've been working to spread awareness of fentanyl's dangers ever since.
There are hundreds and hundreds of parents right now across the country that are taking their pain and turning it into purpose to educate our kids, educate our family members, anybody struggling with addiction.
Moms need to know this. Gummies on the playground that get left during the night. We just want to save more people and more young people. They're getting younger and younger.
Serenity Marie Faith, 17 months.
According to data collected from our partners at the San Francisco Chronicle, more than 107,000 people died from drug overdoses in the U.S. last year, more than 480 of those in New Hampshire. Nationally, 68% of those deaths involved fentanyl. But in nearly every Granite State county, that's much higher. More than 90% of drug deaths in Grafton and Belknap County involved the drug.
Guilty, Your Honor.
So say you all.
Yes.
Okay.
A jury finding 41-year-old Dale Holloway guilty on all but one count related to a 2019 wedding shooting that left the bride and bishop hurt. For that one attempted murder charge, jurors told the judge they believed Holloway knowingly fired the gun, but they weren't sure if the bride was the intended target.
I pray for him, but it's over with, and so we're going to our future now.
The trial broken up into 3 parts. After the conviction, the jury found Holloway was indeed a felon in possession of a firearm at the time of the shooting because of a separate 2003 conviction. Now it's up to Holloway to convince the jury that he was mentally insane at the time of the Pelham shooting.
There's no way you're not going to find me sane.
Dale Holloway wasn't insane. He was grieving.
Holloway brought in a forensic psychologist who said she diagnosed him with PTSD and paranoid personality disorder that she said appeared to have stemmed from childhood, but then testified it was just a preliminary draft and it wasn't a full evaluation.
Please be